We are live. Let's talk about the final countdown for Bitcoin and altcoins because Q4 2025 starts this Tuesday, which is incredibly exciting. Most of you have been following the show. You guys have been following crypto news. You've been following everything that's been happening. And we've had a heck of a year. We really, really have. And we're in the final countdown before Q4 2025. If you're new here, let me explain what Q4 2025 is. So basically, there's 4 quarters in the year, right? And each different quarter, there's different reports that companies have to submit. There's different financials that come out. There's different milestones and goals and all of that stuff that happens in traditional finance, that happens with the economy, that happens with crypto, okay? And that also happens when different companies get more budget, less budget, et cetera, because they have to do particular things for taxes by the end of the year. I know this because I, got my little business. But more importantly is we're going to get the Bitcoin monthly close. It's going to happen, I believe, Tuesday, the 1st. We're going to get that happening. In addition to that, we're really ramping up to get a lot of these crypto spot ETFs approved. And that is my big thesis, my big catalyst is that once we get these crypto spot ETFs approved, we start to see some really nice positive movement with altcoins. And the reason for that is the flow of capital. When we're talking about retail is exhausted. Crypto retail, we're exhausted. Our current market cap is around $4 trillion, which great. That's wonderful. That's fine. That's amazing. But at the same time, when it comes to economically in the US, we are in recession. Some people might say that we're in a depression. I don't think we're in a depression yet. I think we're just in a recession. Because when I think of depression, I think of I think of the depression of 1920s just because I was raised by family members that lived through that as young kids. Now, with that being said, is Americans are hurting. We're having a lot of issues. Credit card debt is all-time high. Home ownership is plummeting. Car loans, student loans, all those things. So basically, if we want to get more capital to come in, we're going to need capital from somewhere else. That can come from the executive order with the approximate of $12.5 trillion heading, not all of it, obviously, but some of it diversifying into the crypto markets. And that obviously comes with a lot of these crypto spot ETFs getting approved. And that will help a little bit. But also, too, now that we're starting to get a lot more set guidelines, we're going to see a lot of institutional money coming, money from hedge funds, money for private families, money from family offices, money from just traditional finance as a whole with bank, et cetera, all that type of stuff. So this really is kind of the final countdown for crypto to pop off. For me personally, I really need to, we got to see these spot ETFs. It's a big thing for me. Are we going to have pullbacks along the way? Are we going to see an altcoin season like we've seen before? I don't think so. And I don't think so because the market has essentially changed, because we're seeing a lot of these DATs coming in, the digital asset treasuries. So every time you hear that, a DAT, digital asset treasury, is basically just a company that adds crypto to their balance sheet or to their treasuries. They either can use those for staking, they can use those to, take out debt against, et cetera. Mostly you'll see that happen with Bitcoin, the debt taking out against Bitcoin, because it is more of a hard asset. And Michael Saylor has essentially led that strategy, pun intended. Good for him. And then we're seeing some companies starting to stake Solana and stake Ethereum, use those DeFi capabilities. So we're going to see this mesh come in from traditional finance with crypto and DeFi is going to continue to get built out. So just because we're seeing all these happen doesn't mean we're going to pump overnight. And that's one of the comments that I get a lot. It's like, everybody's like, hey, when's the market going to pump? I don't know. Insert trillions and trillions of dollars in, and that's when you're going to see the market move. So moral of the story is, we're going to cover charts today. We're going to talk about, different things that we're seeing in the market, kind of what's going on. And we're also going to talk about some other ETFs that are getting ready to go through. Yesterday on the live stream, we kind of talked about the Swift global thing because allegedly it was misconstrued that Swift was going to use Linea, which is an Ethereum layer 2 solution, for their stablecoin, for their messaging and everything else. What they're doing though is Swift will probably launch a stablecoin just like everybody else, and they haven't disclosed or they haven't said what blockchain they're going to use. So Ripple people are like, oh my God, what's a bad blah, blah. Ripple doesn't have anything to worry about. I don't think it has anything to worry about, primarily because they're doing their own thing and they are going to be a great competitor for Swift and a lot of these other entities, primarily because they've been doing it long enough and they've got their own blockchain and they're doing things in a very smart manner. Right now, Wall Street's coin is Ethereum. And the reason why I know, even being just a dodo on the internet, the reason why I know that Ripple is on the right track is when they launched their stablecoin. They're like, oh, we're not going to just do it on one chain. We're not just going to do it on XRPL. Primarily because at that time, there wasn't a whole lot of volume on XRPL. And in addition, why wouldn't you want to have something that is interoperable with one of the most used chains globally for traditional finance? Because that's what, that's Ethereum right now. Now, could that change in the future? 100%. But I think it's important to note what is actually happening. And then as far as the crypto spot ETFs, the SEC put out new generic listing standards. Basically, if a crypto is classified as a commodity, if it has a futures market on regulated exchange for at least 6 months, then it can kind of essentially get streamlined to become a crypto spot ETF. So with that being said, let's go ahead and, take a look at the charts and a little bit of upgrades. Awesome. I'm happy your beer bags are pumping babies, and see what's going on. I lost my train of thought. Probably I do that sometimes, stuff happens, life happens. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of the news I wanted to share with you. Let's get into some of the news because this is important. Wendy's tired. I slept for a long time this morning, really, really long time. I had a wonderful night out last night. Okay, so first, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Let's talk about it again. This is from Nate G. He's an ETF guy. He says this week's buzz. This is basically in regards to top inflows and top outflows, etc. Talking about the iShares and all that type of stuff. So that's kind of what we're seeing going on over there. We're also seeing, though, not this story here. Who was it that was going to launch the? Was it this one? Was it this one? No, but anyways, Cyber Hornet, that's what it is. I'll go ahead and read from my notes instead. So Cyber Hornet went ahead and they applied for an S&P XRP ETF, Ethereum ETF, and Solana ETF. With that being space, no, I'm just tired today. I had a wonderful night though. So again, we have more filings coming out for ETFs, but the interesting, the ones that they're really, really pushing are going to be Solana, Ethereum, and XRP. We still have a bunch of other ones like ADA's on there, Avalanche is on there, Hedera's on there on the list of like the matured futures that are already on the market that we could potentially get approved. But the moral of the story is they're really, 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 really pushing for the crypto spot ETFs to get approved. In addition to that, they're anticipating a lot of capital to come out with that as well, which is good. Now let's go ahead and take a quick look at charts over here. Okay, quick look at charts. This is what the market's currently looking at like right now. Pump is up. Aster is up, of course. I faded like a dodo. XPL is up, down. MYX is down. This was an airdrop coin. I don't know too much about it. Market's just kind of cold chilling right now. Okay, now let's head over to our charts over here and kind of see what's happening. As you guys know, we are partnered with Kraken. If you'd like to sign up to Kraken, it's an exchange that I personally use. I've been using them for over a year now, and so I'm excited to be partnered with them. We got the ref link down below, the QR code up here, or you could go to my website, CryptoWendyO.com, and you can trade a variety of different cryptos on Kraken or use it for on and off ramp, whatever works. They got meme coins, all kinds of things. So we always got to give them a plug. Plus, I like their ethos in general. So this is our big Bitcoin chart. It's a big granddaddy. Daddy Chad Bitcoin chart. And really quickly, got to give a shout out to my audience members for showing up with me today. Good morning to Mr. Dale, to Mr. R, to Boy T Space, Mr. Lawrence for always showing up, and of course Neil. I do have a poll at the top. Are you bullish or bearish for quarter 4 2025? I'm just going to be bullish. I'm going to be bullish. Why am I going to be bullish? Why not? I'm going to be bullish because I want to be. All right, so this is our big chart over here that we kind of use for different levels. This is something I mapped out a little while ago. I generally do this every cycle. I got to go ahead and put some little captions here. So if you guys have any suggestions for the captions, that's fine. But right now, as far as Bitcoin goes, we're looking a little bit bearish here just because we're below the $111,000 area. This is kind of crucial support over here. As you can see, we've tapped on it multiple times. So that's this chart. But let's go ahead and kind of analyze the other Bitcoin chart. And I also do want to take a look at the monthly here because that's definitely going to matter. So this is our Bitcoin monthly chart. Hold on. I think I've got a Bitstamp. What is this one? That's a coin. Yeah, we'll use the Coinbase one because this one has got a lot more price data from about 2015. Okay. So this is what we're looking at on the monthly over here. So far we've opened at 107. We're trading at about 110, and we do have a swing wick high to 117. Obviously, it would have been nice to get a close above 115. 116, but we're not quite there yet. And we're kind of trending on, we're kind of on thin ice a little bit, really on thin ice to get a bullish close. However, a lot of these swing wick highs, I don't necessarily like a whole lot, primarily because on the monthly, it's buyers pushing price up for a little bit, and then sellers are like, no, we don't like this price, so we're going to continue to push it down. So I would love to see us really close above $111,000, because that would correlate with our weekly chart over here. Our weekly chart, we've got really great support at about $111,000. We can see it on the other chart there. So that's what we're seeing happen. When we do take a look at market CIPHER on the weekly, we are looking like we're going to head down, printing another red dot. But again, those do take a lot longer to play out. I'm happy that Open VPP is doing good. That's awesome. Very good news for you. Always practice risk management. Always. We say that with every coin. Let me think. This is the monthly. Yeah, monthly is actually looking a little bit bearish over here. So we'll see what ends up happening. But again, like, I just not seeing us falling like crazy and getting falling to like 82,000 or to 93,000. Some people are saying that we will see sub 100,000 Bitcoin. I just don't think necessarily going to see in Q4. Again, happy to be wrong. But anyways, back to the weekly. The weekly is not looking good so far. On Coinbase, it's not, just because we're teetering and looking like we're going to get a close down here at about 107, which is going to create another, well, we already do have a brand level over here. So we're not looking super great, a little bit bearish. But on the shorter time frames, it looks like Bitcoin is trying to fight up. Like the daily paints a different picture, and it looks like we kind of found a local bottom over here. Also in this area, we were with our little cloudy cloud and our culmination of indicators on market CIPHER. It's showing that kind of a nice pop up over here. We're not as oversold as we were back in August, but still it does look like a nice little pop up. So hopefully we can get a close above 111,000 today. And then in addition to that, on the monthly, it would make me feel a little bit better. 4 hours is looking really nicely for a nice move up. We need to flip 110 and then, head back up to 113. But ultimately on the monthly and the weekly, and well, really just the weekly chart over here. Hold on a second. Let me reset this for us over here. I really just would like to see us, we're not going to close in green, but I would like to see, because we would need to, go up higher here. I would like to see us close above 111 today. That would be nice. That would make me feel just teeny tiny bit better, but we'll see what happens. And again, if Bitcoin decides to tank, the rest of the market will essentially decide to tank to an extent. Now, taking a look at Ethereum. Ethereum's not doing super great. This is the weekly, monthly over here. Monthly doesn't look too bad, because again, this would be the first red monthly candle we get in 1-2 months. So that would be okay, but we would really need to sustain, like 3,700 to me is probably a good area of support, probably closer to this area here, 37.74. That's what I would like to see. So with Ethereum, I just want to see a sustain above this area here. Taking a look at the weekly, we've tapped onto it, but we shouldn't close down at 37. I'm hoping to get a nice close above these highs here at about $4,000. So hopefully we can sustain and then enter our upward trajectory. Market CIPHER does look a little bit bearish though, but it is what it is. Good thing is on the daily, we did find a local bottom, and hopefully we continue to go sideways. So taking a look at Solana over here. Solana is, let me see. Taking a look at Solana over here. We're doing okay. We do need to get above $206. Taking a look at the monthly. I want to see the monthly over here. Let's remove all of our drawing tools. Kind of see it. Solana actually looks pretty good on the monthly, and I think we should close above $200. Fingers crossed that does happen. We'll see though, because again, we did get some volatility down to about 191 here. Make sure you guys smash the like and do all the stuff and the things like that. So let's hope that Solana gets a nice close above $200. That would be good. So we get another 1, 2, 3 candle. However, these long wicks, they don't make me feel really great. And yeah, we're cutting it really, really close here. And Solana does look bearish on the weekly. Taking a look at the daily, daily does look like it wants to pop up. So we'll see where we end up. XRP. Let's go ahead and remove our drawing tools, go to the monthly. XRP is always, the chart is always so weird and so funny because there's just so much drama within these monthly candles because each one of these candles is 30 days. So I really just want to see a close above 276 with XRP on the monthly. We are looking really overbought on a lot of these monthlies though. We are. So maybe we will have some nasty volatility in the beginning of Q4 and then take off in Q1 of 2026. We'll see. It's getting interesting though. So XRP is kind of hanging on to a thread over here. It looks bearish on the monthly on a lot of the larger time frames. The daily is looking okay. Actually, daily looks like it wants to pop up and hit about 287. So let's hope that we get that close. Chainlink is also moving a little bit slower. We have that local bottom here. The dailies look a lot more bullish than the monthlies and the weeklies. And again, the first is going to be on Wednesday. I'm sorry, I said Tuesday. So Chainlink on the monthly. I just want to see us close above 1944, which we shouldn't be too big. Whoops, what's going on? Shouldn't be too big of an issue. Weekly. Really kind of tapping on the support pretty hard. No, not really hard, but we tapped on it. So it makes me a tad bit nervous and like that. Taking a look at the dailies just kind of fighting. And that's what we're seeing happen is really the dailies are showing a lot more bullish price action than a lot of the longer terms. But again, that can always change. Taking a look at Cardano. Let's see what's going on with baby Cardano. Also, it was Cardano's 8th birthday yesterday. So shout out to Ada, shout out to the Cardano community, and happy birthday to Mr. Charles H. All right, now taking a look at the, and again, some of these charts, they don't have the full entire history, but this is what we're using because I'm lazy today. It's Sunday. It is the Lord's Day. God bless you. God bless America, and God bless wherever you're from, honey. All right. So taking a look at ADA on the monthly, just kind of chilling. Weekly does look a little bit bearish, but again, we're seeing bearishness. Like if we were just going to trade off of the weekly, I would call for, like 53 cents or something like that, 71 cents. But again, this is the weekly. These can always change. And also too, it is technically in the overbought territory, but it's not super overbought. Now taking a look at the daily over here with Cardano, we're holding nicely. We're trying to get above the 78 cents area. So let me just draw my cute little trend line. Yeah, this is where we really got to sustain. So again, a lot of the dailies are looking great. I'm taking a look at HBAR. So HBAR's got support at 20 cents. So we're just, whoopsie, wrong one. So we're going to use this as critical support on the daily. Taking a look at the monthly. We're having a little bit of a rough time on the monthly here, and it is pretty important we sustain above 20 cents. Taking a look at the weekly. Weekly is also having a bit of a rough time. And again, it's important we stay above 26 cents. And I do want to see us at least hit, get a nice little close at about 21 cents here. But again, taking a look at the daily's looking like it does want to pop up. So we may get a decent weekly close on the, we may get a decent weekly close on, well, not necessarily decent, but better than down more over there. So really, that's kind of what's going on with the markets right now. We're just what we have determined. What we have determined is that the larger time frames, the monthly and the weekly, look a little bit bearish. But the positive news is that the dailies do look more bullish. So if we do bounce back from that oversold area, it's going to help essentially kind of push price up a little bit. But I think really the entire world is waiting to see what's going to happen with our tariffs, to see what's going to happen with these crypto spot ETFs, etc. And then that's where we can potentially get a lot of the volume coming in. So what should you be doing right now? Just chill. If your strategies are working for you, if you're somebody who's not a big trader, you can use some like Kraken, and you can go ahead and dollar cost average or whatever exchange you like. In addition to that, you can just watch the market and sit on your hands and wait for these 401ks or the spot ETFs to get approved, so you can diversify if you do decide to, or just sit on your hands and continue to wait. Either way, I will see you guys tomorrow. I got another XRP video for you at 2 p.m. PT. See you guys tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. PT. And we're going to have a great week. It's going to be a great Q4 of 2025. Sending y'all love and light. Bye-bye, babies.